and we will be going live in 5, 4, 3, 2. We're live.
Good morning, Owasso. This is the Twins with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. It's currently 8 a.m. like normal. It is roughly 55 degrees out right now. We have a high of 75 today. So, again, enjoy this weather. It's not the warmest, it's not as warm as it was yesterday, but it will be warm enough for you to go outside and do stuff with your family after work. So I highly recommend doing that. I went for a good run yesterday after work, so that was a good time. So make sure you're doing that because this will be the last day for it because it appears we've got some pretty severe weather blowing through over the next several days. So enjoy your last day of outside time because it's not looking very hospitable over the next couple of days. So with that being said, the traffic conditions going into Tulsa are fair. It was kind of standstill a couple minutes ago, but it's cleared right up and there's no congestion, no real traffic issues at all. So if you haven't left and you're commuting into Tulsa, your commute's looking pretty good. So enjoy your trip in and drive safe. So it's after moving on from that, we've got local stuff going on. I think we have some grand openings today or some ribbon cutting ceremonies.
Yes, we do.
For some
Give me
businesses.
1 second.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's what I've got. On the Chamber of Commerce page, I've got pastries and perks, which that's going on right now. So anybody who's still interested in doing that, that is pretty sure that is from like 8 to 9. Then we have Anytime Fitness Owasso's ribbon cutting, and that's at 10 a.m. today. And let me see what that address is real quick. Let's see here. They are located at 12918 East 86th Street North, Owasso.
That's over there by
Near Airtopia.
Yeah, Airtopia.
Yep. That's what it says, near Airtopia. Then I have the next ribbon cutting was at 4 p.m. today, and that is the Eagle Window Tent.
Okay.
And that is 314 East 5th Avenue, building number 201, Owasso, Oklahoma.
And we'll see if we can't get Chad to get out there and live stream those events if he can. We've got a car appointment today for a vehicle for my girlfriend's car, and he has a dentist appointment today as well. So if we can squeeze that in, hopefully we'll be able to go and film some of that going on.
Absolutely.
So,
but as for the rest of everything that I have going on, it's the Owasso Economic Luncheon on the 25th, and then the Jimmy Eggs ribbon cutting.
That's
on
right.
Friday.
Very cool.
That's it for the chamber side of things. As for Owassoisms, it's still that art show going on at the high school. The St. Henry's Meal, community meals on the 25th. 27th is that run, the 5K run for the worldwide orphan run. The Veterans of Foreign Wars I can't say it. Just golf tournament.
Golf tournament.
And then Bunko for a Cause on April 30th. And
good deal.
That's about all I've got.
Good deal. Okay, so we're going to kind of move back to more weather-related topics. Can you pull up those weather images I sent and kind of pull them up? We can do a day-by-day breakdown. So the reason I kind of was focusing on weather and telling you we got some severe weather coming through over the next couple of days is that is the case. And it's not just severe. This is the stuff storm chasers go chasing after, all these tornado watchers and whatnot. So it's going to be a rough couple of days as far as severe weather goes. So the primary starting point of these storms for Thursday is going to be out in western Oklahoma. And that's where they center and where they expect them to form and then start and get pushing on this way. So every day from today to Sunday, expect heavy storms blowing through with potentials for tornadoes. So the one on Thursday, if you got the Thursday image pulled up right now,
I do.
So Thursday, again, it's going to form out in western Oklahoma. I'm not exactly sure on the time frame of these, and I'm sure the weather channels aren't exactly accurate on the exact time frames that they're going to be pushing through and the speed and velocity of these things because, we don't figure out the wind speeds until they're actually happening. So you won't know if there's an EF5 headed your way until they've assessed the damage. So just be advised, you need to create a plan for you and your family and have know what you're going to do and know where you're going to go. So if you have a storm shelter, you're ahead of the curve. You're ready to go. If you don't, you got to make sure you at least have a plan to go to the most center part of your house and have a mattress or something to carry in there with you and keep it over to protect yourself and your family from debris. But I would say make friends with your neighbors. If they've got a storm shelter, hopefully they've got a storm shelter that has enough room for you and your family and as well. So have a plan, get working on one, put it in motion right now. Because if you don't, and you're just going to go willy-nilly, and you're just going to go off on a hope and a prayer, don't get me wrong, a prayer is a powerful thing, but praying's what you do when all your other plans go to crap. So put a plan in place, make sure you and your entire family know how to execute said plan. Let's say if you're not together, if you're at work or school, or if it's late at night and you're doing something, you're away, and the kids, they make sure your kids know what to do. Make sure you know what to do. Make sound decisions during this time, because these weather predictions that were put out by, I guess, Team Dominator, they're a storm chasing team. Like they wouldn't have storm chasing teams posting this stuff that they're excited to be going into Oklahoma if there wasn't, some bad weather actually getting ready to happen and some damage getting ready to be done. So they could be wrong, but expect the best, but plan for the worst. So make sure you have a plan set in place to deal with this stuff. So Friday, it's looking like all these storms are going to be forming right over us here in central and central and eastern Oklahoma. So Friday is going to be a rough one, and Saturday it's looking basically the exact same. It's going to be all the storms are going to be forming directly over us and dropping all that crap. And then Sunday, it's looking pretty decent for us. It looks like it's all going to be out, and the storms will be forming majority in Arkansas. Now, that doesn't mean there won't be storms and scattered showers and stuff happening here and potentials for tornadoes, but that's just what they've predicted off of these charts that you're seeing on the screen right now. So, again, have a plan in place, know what you're going to do. And again, if you don't have an underground shelter, if it's an F4 or F5, being in the centermost part of your house, if you're not underground, you're not going to make it, more than likely. You might, but you won't, more than likely. So have a plan, know how to execute said plan, make sure everyone in your family knows how to execute that plan and knows what to do in the event that you guys are separated as well. So be smart. We got some severe weather coming up over the next couple of days. Be watching the news, be watching the Weather Channel, and, again, sleep with your phone on loud at night as well. Like, I always silence my phone when I go to bed because I don't want to be bothered after 10 o'clock. I'm done. But these are the nights that you want to have your phone on loud, so whenever those tornado alerts come in or those Amber Alert noises come in, you're aware that you are in the danger path. So make smart decisions. I know we're all curious creatures. If you're like me, you can pull up the video of me filming the tornado off of my front porch.
We'll do.
Let me know when it's playing and I'll stop talking. But yeah, we had that one blow through Owasso. What was that? 2014, 2000? Was it 2016 or?
I don't remember now.
I don't remember it was like 3 or 4. It was like 3 or 4 years ago. I can't remember. But, you all were here. I remember dealing with the customers here working at the insurance office. Like, people going, yeah, my roof's gone, and I've got a lot of shingles missing. So, but we're all curious. We all go out on our front porches and watch. And, that's just who we are. We're just curious little animals. That's all humans are. We like watching stuff. So I was out there filming off my front porch because I was not directly in the danger path. But, some people were in the danger path. And if you are, and you'll never know if you are. If you're unfortunate, you get a rain-wrapped one or one that's like a mile wide, you won't know until it's way too late. That's why all those people in Joplin got killed back in 2011.
I've got the video up, by the way.
Oh, perfect, yeah.
It's just playing. I've already had the sound on and everything.
Good.
But yeah, it's just a short little video of where it was in relation to you.
Yeah.
As it was coming down basically near 76th Street.
Yeah, it was going by 76th Street, and then it was moving east. I think it was northeast is where it was moving, so it went over towards the Patriot area.
Yeah, that's right.
Hit all those houses over there. But yeah, I got lucky and was able to just look at it and have a comfortable little view and not have to really worry about the issues. But, some people weren't. I don't think anybody got severely hurt or injured in that one, thank goodness. But still happened. You know, I remember people talking to Owasso being like, "Yeah, we have some type of Indian spell or curse saying that we don't get tornadoes over here." It's like, obviously that's not the case. But yeah, there's a lot of silly myths and stuff about tornadoes that people believe and, you know, don't believe it. I mean, tornadoes can happen absolutely anywhere at any time if the conditions are right. I mean, there are tornadoes that happen in Europe. There are tornadoes that happen in China. I mean, people are like, that's not true. It's like, no, it's 100% true. The severity of them aren't as bad, but they're still pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
So, they can happen anywhere, anytime. So be prepared. Have a plan set in place and make sure your family knows. Make sure your family is protected. That is your job. You know, your safety is your issue. If you want to be a statistic or a survivor, that's what you make sure you have a plan set in place. Have an emergency plan set up. Have emergency food. Have emergency water.
Mm-hmm.
You never know. I mean, it could take 2 weeks to get if the, let's say we get hit by a big tornado and it takes down the electric grid. It could take a couple weeks before we get power or running water again.
Mm-hmm.
So that is your safety is your responsibility, period. So have a plan, make sure everyone knows that plan, and you are good to go.
All right. Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll push on to more interesting culture topics now that you're briefed on the weather. But so I guess the first one we'll do James O'Keefe. If you don't know who James O'Keefe is, he used to be the leader of Project Veritas, which obviously, I mean, what a great name, Project Veritas, Latin meaning truth. But he got kicked out or forced out of his own organization. It's what happens when you let a board of directors take over. You let you go public with your company. You have people in there who have conflicting interest with you. And James O'Keefe was Project Veritas. He's the guy. He's the guy that created it. He's the guy that got all the truth stories put out there. I mean, that's who he is. I mean, that was his company. And then you had these people come in and take over who were the financier types, and they forced him out. They were like, we don't want to be associated with you. You're too controversial. It's like, we're investigative journalists. Controversy is what we do. But they forced him out, and he started his own group. And he's kind of going in between names. It was O'Keefe Media Group, but I think now it's OMG Media. And I'm not sure if it's back to O'Keefe Media Group again, or if it's still OMG. Do you know which it is?
It's OMG. He said it's OMG Media. It's O'Keefe Media Group, OMG.
Okay, so
it's called OMG now. But yeah, Project Veritas is officially gone because the board of directors
killed it.
They kicked him out, and he is Project Veritas. He just basically took all the people who were loyal to him, and they all followed him. Like, all the people who were actually loyal to him and to Project Veritas left with him, and he just started up OMG, or O'Keefe Media Group.
Yes.
And then Project Veritas tried to ride it out with the name brand for as long as they could, but they eventually just died.
Yes.
Because the person who, when the person who starts the business disappears, it's not too long before the business itself kind of disappears.
Yeah, the people that worked for James worked for him because they liked working for him. They don't know these investors that came in and took over his company. They didn't want to work for them. They created a toxic work environment. So they were, you have people come in and goes, we can run this better than James, and it's clearly not, because the people were there because they wanted to work with James, not because they wanted to work and get a paycheck. That's the kind of loyalty you need when it comes to having a community of workers. So that's who James O'Keefe is. James O'Keefe is like the James Bond of like media personalities. He's a cool dude. He posts video of him dancing and dancing and celebrating over his enemies. So if you want to go ahead and play that video real quick, this will give you insight into who James O'Keefe is. And you just let me know when it's done.
So it's about to restart. As soon as it restarts, I'll hit the
sound. Okay, cool.
There it goes.
done.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
So that's who James is. Like, he is like, those were retractions and those were statements made by people going, "You're not afraid to get sued for $100 million?" He's like, "Nope," because he knows he's going to win because I'm not doing anything wrong.
Yep.
I mean, that's who James O'Keefe is.
Yeah. And for anybody that has ever said that Project Veritas or James O'Keefe is a liar and he's going to court for like lying or being slander or whatever, he has won every single court case he has ever been in.
Yeah, and he's just a single small media group. Like, he's not like CNN and MSNBC and ABC that have millions of lawyers at his behest. He has lawyers now that he's a bigger company and a bigger well-known name, but he's not as well off as these other people who are getting funded by millionaires and billionaires. He's just a dude who started out almost 15 years ago doing investigative journalism by himself.
That's right.
And he is one of the most trusted and best known media figures in the world now because of what he's done. He's a good dude. Like, and that gives you an insight. Like, I mean, he's suave, he's cool, he's this really charismatic media personality that goes out there and finds the truth. He's a truth seeker. And obviously other media organizations hate it because they want that level of fame that he has without having to do that level of work. Everybody wants to be the next Anderson Cooper so he can just sit behind a desk and read what they tell him to and have somebody in his ear go, "Oh, don't talk about that," or press him on this. James O'Keefe goes out there and presses the story. That's who he is. That's what he does. And he is just he's the James Bond personality. You have the businessy types like the Ben Shapiro's at Daily Wire. It's like, the media's got to be presented in this kind of way and it's going to be like this, and I'm not going to do any real investigative stuff because I'm just, people know me too much. And you have other people like Steven Crowder, who's more of a comedy guy. You have Tim Pool, who's just more of a straight, here's the news, here's the facts, and here's my opinion on what's wrong with it. And you have James O'Keefe, who is the undercover James Bond investigative journalist guy. He's just cool. And he goes out there and he digs for the truth. So that's why the media doesn't like James O'Keefe. That's why he bothers people, because he goes out there and gets the truth and they go, "Well, he did it under rude circumstances." Like, doesn't matter. He got to the point. He got to the truth, you know?
Said not everybody tells the truth when they're being interviewed by a journalist straight up.
Yeah.
That's why undercover journalism is a
It's
thing.
just like the media, like the people that he goes after, it's like their Facebook profiles. The Facebook profile shows the best version of yourself. Your Instagram profile shows the best version, like the most exciting or the parts of your life you want people to see. They don't show the dark stuff that nobody cares about. You know, like if you're doing a backdoor shady deal, you're not going to go out and be like, "Yeah, I work with China.
Yeah, you don't.
I'm a sleeper agent for China."
Yep. Nobody shows that they were a drug dealer on their Facebook page.
Yeah. Unless you're, yeah. And so, speaking of that, we'll push on to the next thing. We'll talk about, if you don't know who Charlamagne the God is, congratulations. I don't call him Charlamagne the God. I call him Charlamagne the Charlatan, because he's a former drug dealer. And that was his drug dealer name was Charles, and he thought Charlamagne sounded cool, and he thought he was going to call him Charlamagne the Great, but then he said, "I think the God sounds cooler." So, I mean, you know, he's just kind of a narcissist, in my opinion, and just not a good dude, not a very intelligent guy. I'm not saying he's dumb, but he's just not. He has a very jaded worldview, and that jaded worldview comes from, I guess, his upbringing, but also just because he's all in for the BLM. He's all in for, you know, the white man is keeping the black man down. And, you know, I don't know where this worldview comes from. I don't know who talks to these folks and convinces them that there's, like, we have groups of meetings of white people and we talk about how we're trying to keep black people down. Like, I don't know. I've never been invited to one of those meetings, you know. But here is... we'll just show you this clip of Charlamagne getting basically destroyed by
Larry
Elder. And Larry Elder is a fantastic political media figure. He's been doing talk radio, and he's been talking about conservative stuff for years. I mean, for years. He went to law school, was a lawyer for a little bit, and then, you know, somebody goes, "How do you feel about doing talk radio?" He goes, "Talk radio is a joke." And then he ended up being in talk radio for like 40 plus years. So
I've got it ready whenever you're
okay,
ready.
yeah, go ahead and play it and watch him.
All right.
gets completely obliterated by Larry Elder on racism in America. Check it out.
In America, 60% of the shootings, robberies, and the homicides are committed by black people, often against other black people. You can't blame it on poverty. You can't blame it on racism. It is the breakdown of the nuclear intact family, and neither side is talking about it.
Let me ask you a question. What do white people do wrong?
What do you mean, what do white people do? I'm not worried about white people. I'm worried about what's going on with us.
But if there's systemic racism in this country, which we know it is.
No, I don't say there is. You say there is. I don't believe that.
Have you ever heard the term Nick wake-up call?
No.
It is an incident where a person of color forgets that they are of color and are reminded by an unexpected act of racism.
I'm acutely aware, Charlamagne, that I'm a black person, just as you are a black person. And when Joe Biden insulted you by saying, you ain't really black, we don't know whether or not you want to vote for me or vote for Donald Trump. And Joe Biden has lied for decades about his civil rights record, claiming that he desegregated movie theaters and restaurants in Wilmington, Delaware, when he didn't do any of that. And he came in here and told you you aren't even black unless you think a certain kind of way. It seemed to me that should have been a Nick wake-up call for you, but it wasn't, apparently.
Charlamagne.
That's it.
So I mean, that's. I don't know why Charlamagne is so popular. I mean, after that, I mean, Larry Elder's a very sharp guy. He's very smart, very well spoken. I mean, he was trying to get to run for president, and he tried to run for governor and for president, but he's out there in the People's Republic of California, and Republicans they don't have a shot out there because it's ruled by corrupt giant mega cities and all the people who live out. Like I said, California is a red state. But it has massive blue cities. I mean, you got San Francisco, San Diego, Los Angeles. Those are all hubs of blue. And there's not a lot you can do when, the super majority of the populations live there. So, I mean, again, it's the tyranny of the majority against the minority. So, California is actually a red state. It's just blue at the city centers. So, yeah, that's Larry Elder, man. He's sharp. He's good. Like, I mean, I've listened to Larry Elder for years. The guy is fantastic. He's great to listen to. He's published a lot of books. He's worked with Dennis Prager back in the day. He worked with the creators of South Park. So I mean, he's just a good dude, Larry Elder. And but that right there, that video personifies what I would say the mind sickness in the African American community here in the U.S. It's like, why does he think that way? Why do you have a person like Larry Elder who actually grew up in the rough neighborhoods, grew up that way, and grew up in the same school, and have people come out with completely different worldviews? But again, it's all about what you make reality. Your perception is your perception of the world is your reality. And you have people who go in with this chip on their shoulder, like the world's out to get me. And you have people like Larry Elder who come out and they go, no, nobody's out to get me. All the decisions I've made and all the bad choices, good choices are a result of me, not as a result of exterior forces of like this mythical white man trying to hold me down. So, yeah. But yeah, we kind of wanted to focus a little bit more on culture instead of news today because, again, politics is downstream from culture. The reason the culture is the way it is because of the way politics is now is because the way the media has affected culture for the last 20 years. So again, if this indoctrination of our kids into the trans and gay ideology right now is being pushed, imagine how bad it's going to be in 10, 20 years from now. That's why you got to draw that line in the sand and start saying, no, none of that. We're done with that nonsense now.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we got to start producing culture. We got to start creating our own culture.
Agreed.
That's why we are here doing this, Owasso Live. We want people to be more informed about the news, but also be more informed about culture and this is the kind of stuff that I was consuming as a young man. And it's stuff that you need to be aware of, that if you have kids, what they're consuming, or yourself, how are you consuming it? How are you perceiving the world? It's the most important thing we can do. So that's why we have this channel. That's why we are sharing our thoughts and opinions the way we are. So we can help create culture and make the world a better place around us, hopefully. So that's about all we've got for you today. I hope that everyone has a wonderful day.
Well, there is one other thing I was just going to bring up.
What was that?
It's only Thunder news. Is the OKC Thunder have a game tonight? We already beat the Pelicans once, and if we beat them tonight, we're looking pretty good to keep our way into the finals here.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's
So
right.
now we can go ahead and wrap it up.
But yeah, again, be sure to make sure you have your severe weather plans in place for this rest of this week, because again, we got some major severe storm systems blowing through over the next 4 days. So be prepared. So everyone, I hope you have a wonderful day. This is the Twins with Owasso Live, and this was the Morning Loop. God bless y'all. Have a wonderful day.
See you later, everybody.